Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to my channel. I'm Real King, back at it again. So let's check this video out today. So I'm making this video rather late. I had too much of an enjoyable day off today. And I ate a little too much food, kind of all at once. And so I was trying to let my stomach kind of settle down a little bit and relax before I, started my video. So anyways, I have, let's see. I got a surprise coming up for a video in about a week and a half. And so basically finished off a really strong work week yesterday. And I was really happy about that. And so what that means is, and what I was doing was I was trying to make sure, because I knew that, there's some things coming up, kind of back to back to back, a lot of big things. Well, first being all next week, I have the week off until the 7th of next month. So that's great. I already knew that that was coming up. So I also knew that that is the same week of my birthday. Excuse me, and we get paid that week. I'll actually get paid before my birthday, so it's gonna be a big plus. And so there were some things that I wanted to do specifically and special for myself. And one of the weird things that I'm gonna actually say is I have, not to my knowledge anyways, which is really strange to say and think, but I've always basically been broke on my birthday, which is, it's not good, but it's just something that it's always been that way. I don't know why, but so this is the time that I've actually I'm gonna be breaking that cycle. So that's very exciting. One. Number two is, so I know and knew that, okay, I had some money going into that pay period that I had already been saving up. And I was planning to have at least about almost like 350 saved up going into next week, that pay period week, which I'm not going to be able to do. A couple of things came up that, basically, I donate plasma and stuff like that to get some extra money and stuff and everything. I usually do 2 times a week. And yesterday would have been the day for me to go, which I believe I went last Wednesday. The problem was yesterday, by the time I was over there by the, plasma place, it was kind of late and I didn't want to be getting done with that and then getting home so late. So I just decided not to do it. And then I didn't go today because I didn't want to. I figured, well, it won't matter if I go today or tomorrow anyways, because I can only go one time this week. So, yeah, so that's kind of where some of that, excuse me, some of the money that I had been saving or was planning to save, which is about that's going to be like $100, a little more than $100 that I'm not going to have. So it's only going to be like 47 of that, because I'm only going to be able to do it once this week. And that combined with the fact that I've been spending some money, extra money, on things that I did not need to do, which was not good. I was buying dumb stuff at my job to go with food that I had already had. The breakfast is one thing, but the other stuff that I was getting that wasn't breakfast was not something that I needed to do. And the stuff there is expensive, even with my discount. The stuff that I was getting, like cake and, stupid stuff like that I didn't need. So as a result, more of that money was spent, and that wasn't good. So then I was like, okay, well, as long as I have about 2 something, I should be cool. And that ideally would have been fine. And the thing is, I don't necessarily need all of this money. It's just something that I was planning I wanted to have, going into, so I didn't have to spend so much of my hard-earned cash. So even with all of that, I'm gonna have some money. I'm gonna have a decent amount going into next week. It's gonna be under $200, but no big deal. And the only reason is because I bought food today. I did some grocery shopping, and I got stuff for the week. So that's part of the reason, a big part of the reason why I'm not gonna have that much going into next week. But it's not a big deal because something is better than nothing. And the cool thing is, there was something that I wanted to get. And I had a bunch of things in a cart on eBay, and I was checking out eBay and Best Buy and Walmart for something, which is going to be the surprise. And it came down to, out of the 3 places that I was looking for something, turns out eBay is the best place for me to get, for me to shop for this. And so I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I had a few things in my cart, in my eBay cart, and I think it was all totaling over like $300, which wasn't bad. But I thought about it. I'm like, well, especially now that I'm not gonna have that much kind of money going into next week, I really don't want to spend so much. And so I'm like, well, I don't need this. I don't need this. And I just came up with about 3 items that is not going to break the bank by any means. And the reason why I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to spread something out, because I told one of my coworkers, I was like, well, I think I'm going to get my hair done for my birthday. So that is something that I want to do. And that's going to run me at least $2 something. So I'm like, well, I don't mind spending this money because it's something that, I want to do for myself. Is, I want to treat my own self on my day and stuff like that. So my thing is, having some money saved up, is good. I don't need to be spending a lot of money, and I really don't want to, because like I said, I'm trying to save up to move, and, buying a bunch of stuff is not something that I, really feel is right to do. It's called resistance, and resistance to temptations. And so, I did get some things for myself today. And then, so I figured, I'll go ahead and relax and stuff like that. And so I picked out a couple things that are, that are good, that are investments, and they're actually, pretty inexpensive. So I was like, wow, this is not a bad deal. I can actually do a couple of things for myself, and it would not be such a bad deal. Also, I'm going to be doing it next week. So I'm going to make, I will only really be out of like $55, when it's all said and done, because I will most likely donate 2 days next week, which will be before my birthday. I'll probably go like Tuesday and Thursday of next week. And so I'll make up a little bit of that dough and everything like that. And so that's kind of what my plan is and stuff like that. So I was thinking about everything. I'm just like, well, there's one thing I actually, that I need to take care of with when I get paid. So I got to make sure I pay my premium for my healthcare benefits. I got to go ahead and do that. That's not that much anyways. And then there's one more thing I have to do. And so I'm going to get those 2 things done and out the way. And then once those 2 things are cleared, then everything is going to start really, moving in a good direction for me and in a good pace. I'm very excited about some of these up and coming things that are going to be, happening for myself and for my channel and everything. And so it's been a good work week. Like I said, I didn't expect to stay at work as long as I did yesterday. I don't know how I did that. I had a pretty long conversation with the coworker, but we didn't have really anything to do for the entire day. It was just a really crazy day. And I was like, well, in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm most likely going to be getting off around like 3. Because I wanted to at least get 7 hours. and stuff like that. So, but that turned into me getting off at 4. So the whole week, I basically worked until 4, and that's what 9 hours. And so, because when I come in, I work like I come in at 6:30 is when I clock in. So I had a really good work week, and then so I was my mind was focused. I know what I need to do. I knew what my assignment was. I knew that I had some things to take care of, and so it was really just mind over matter and making sure that I stayed focused on the bigger picture. I'm like, well, this is easy work. You know, I could get off early if I wanted to, but why leave money on the table? There's, all we don't have to be doing a bunch of stuff. Like the stuff that we were doing, which is like really simple, silly stuff, but we were on the clock. And so it's like, kind of job do you know that you can kind of do this and get paid? So I'm thinking about this. I'm just like, look, man, might as well get this money while it's here, because we're going to be off for a week. And then, coming back from that, we're going to have another 2 weeks off in August where, we're going to have like less hours, basically, is what that's going to be. A lot less hours. And so I'm thinking about all this. I'm just like, look, let me go ahead and just tough this out. It's not a big deal. And it's the last day of the work week. We're going to have like a week and a half off. Like, what's the big deal? So it was good. It was good. I'm glad I was able to tough it out and to make it happen and make it work. So yeah, like today I slept in. I was tired. I went to bed kind of early for a day off. I went to bed like 30 minutes after, like later than I normally do when I go to work. But I was tired. Woke up kind of, I slept in and woke up and had some breakfast, and I went out to the park and enjoyed myself, and had me a nice cigar, and that was about it. After that, I went to the store, got me some groceries, and then came home. So, and that was about it that I did today. I will be getting stuff ready. I'm doing some research. I have checked out some remote jobs that are always hiring, and so there was a lot of good ones that I checked out, and so I am going to be looking into those and seeing which ones. I want to make sure some of these are the ones that are available. They allow you to basically live in anywhere. Some are just in the United States. Some are specific to certain cities or states or whatever. But you got to check all that kind of stuff out. So I want to check out some of these places. At the very least, some of these can be like side hustles. Things that I can do in my spare time, or things like that, which would be great. Second source of income. That would kind of like add to, obviously, in a good way, the amount of time that I'm not working. Maybe I can do these jobs on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Sundays, maybe, who knows, so that way that can kind of pick up some slack and things like that. So those are some ideas that I have, at the very least, with these remote jobs that are always hiring and stuff. So I will keep you guys posted on that information for anybody that might be interested in those kind of jobs. But I'm just trying to see what some options are, because like I said, I'm basically, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I haven't really completely, the sale on Thailand is a hard sell. It's a hard one to pass up, because I seen what I seen, and I have not seen those same visuals from Brazil. I know stuff about Brazil. I know a good amount, but I'm still not sold completely for some reason. And so I'm really kind of just seeing and weighing out my options on on, all together, and so I have plenty of time before I'm ready to go. So I'm just really kind of figuring things out, watching videos, collabing with people, asking people questions, doing my research, really getting a good feel, and getting a good idea of where it is that I want to actually be. Where do I want to see myself at? So that's kind of what it is and stuff, because at the end of the day, I just want to be, I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy and content. I want to be somewhere different than here, and that's my goal. So this wasn't going to be a long video, especially being that it was at nighttime. But like I said, y'all, got a special surprise coming to you guys. And like I said, it'll probably be, not next week, but the week after next. It'll be at the week after next, most likely. But stay tuned for that video because it's going to be awesome. And you guys don't want to miss that because that's going to be kind of like a new start video, if I may say. It's going to be a new start video. So, and that's going to be representative of a couple of different things. Obviously, I'll be turning, a new age. And so to kind of bring in that new age, that milestone age at that, I want to really kind of start, doing things, leveling up. So that's what I will be doing, is leveling up. I cannot wait. So I got some homework to do. I got figuring some things out. I'm going to be, making notes and kind of just, getting myself mentally prepared for my next steps and progression and, perfecting my crafts and, just being more serious and stuff like that, So with that in mind, with that being said, I hope you guys like the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Also, press that notification bell so that way you guys are notified when I am uploading my videos, y'all. I'm Real King, y'all, back at it again, and y'all have a good evening.